Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Pals Podcast. My name is George Boutsalis.
And I'm your other pal, Ricky Liorti.
Before you go any farther, we have one thing to say. Thanks so much to everybody who has tuned in and coming back to tune in again. We love you all and thank you for the support. For those of you who are new listeners, we ask one thing. Please take a second to go like, subscribe, and follow the Pals Podcast. You can do so on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, every social. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
And we'd like to give a special shout out to the people who keep the lights on for us, our sponsors. First is our presenting sponsor, Kingsville Brewery. Guys, we've been drinking this beer for the last probably 6 months now, and it is amazing. Most of you know me and Georgie aren't big beer drinkers, but this stuff goes down great. Premium, light, refreshing, perfect for the cottage, summer drinks with your friends, or hanging out and listening to the pals. They're available now for GTA delivery through Profile Wine Group. So definitely check them out. You can get it delivered directly to your door for a very cheap cost. So definitely check that out. And guys, again, if you haven't drank this, give it a shot because it is so good. So special shout out to them and give them a follow on Instagram and all of the socials at Kingsville Brewery. And Georgie, tell them about our other sponsor.
If you don't know, you're about to know. Our next sponsor is our baby, our passion project turned global social media app, taking over the world and fixing social media one vote at a time, Cast. Guys, I'm going to tell you what Cast is. Cast is a social voting app. We're on a mission to create a safe space to share your honest opinion and see an instant snapshot of what people really think. We're turning bystanders into active participants in every conversation. Now, you might say, George, doesn't social media like that already exist? Well, the answer is no, and you'd be wrong. Guys, there's a reason why we're doing what we're doing. Social media has become a place filled with subjective data, dishonest opinions, and biased narratives. We're bringing objective truth, honesty, and transparency to social media to create a real representation of what people really think. If you want to check out Cast and get on today and be part of the conversation, you can go to www.joincast.co/download. You can find Cast on the App Store and the Play Store. Just look for the purple C. And that's all. Without further ado, LFG.
Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pals Podcast. This episode, we've got an exciting one. If you are on TikTok like the rest of the world, there's a good chance you will recognize our next guest. He goes by mostly Luca on TikTok and Instagram. So Luca Schaefer, welcome to the Pals Podcast, buddy. Good having you in here.
Thank you guys for having me.
It's honestly, you are, first off, our youngest guest we've ever had, and probably our biggest TikTok superstar that we've had.
You're making me feel good. Stop hyping me up.
That's what we're here for, right? Just pump your tires a little bit, get the episode going.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
I love it. So when did you start TikTok? How'd you get so big? What was the thing that kicked it off?
I actually started on what was it before TikTok? It was Musically. Yeah. And TikTok bought Musically. Musically was not working out for me at all. Like I think I had 100,000 followers after like a year, but like it just like I wasn't going anywhere. And then when TikTok
don't
came
say
out,
it wasn't working. 100,000 in a year is still a lot, man. Like,
I mean, it was a lot, but like compared to what I was seeing, and like at the time, like after a year, like it was slowing down for me. Like I wasn't growing as fast. And then when TikTok came out, I don't know who told me. I think it was a friend of mine, but they were like, "Yeah, TikTok's pushing new creators, blah 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 blah." And I had already sold my Musically account because I don't know how, but it randomly got verified one day. But I just stopped using it, so I sold it. And so when TikTok came out, I started fresh, and within the first month, I think I had about 300,000 followers. I was like, okay, well, this is obviously working way better than whatever I was doing on Musically. So I just stuck to that, and it just kept going and going.
I love it.
So did you get on Musically, obviously, because you wanted to, like, you're striving to pursue something in the music space in that sort of creative, and like, was that the original reason why you got in there, or what led you to start with Musically?
Honestly, I just there was some Viners I think that hopped on Musically at the time, and I just always thought like being like some kind of influencer or having followers in a way was a super dope. I always thought it was so cool. And so I was like, it was one day I think it was grade 6. I started posting these random Musicallys, and I think it was one of me dancing on a toilet was the one that actually got me my first like little bit of followers at the time. It was so strange. And I just remember like running after class when I looked at my phone, just like telling all my friends about it too.
That's like one of us when we get like 5,000 hits on TikTok. We're like, yo, guys, check it out. We're going viral.
Yeah, it was just a weird feeling because I was so used to getting like 2,000, 5,000. I think this one had like 600,000 views by the time I was after class. And I was just like this little 13-year-old kid. So I started running around screaming in the hallways, telling everybody about it.
That's so crazy, man. Grade 6, I was like, that's what's so interesting to me. Like grade 6, you had this. When I was in grade 6, I didn't even have my first cell phone. I literally had, like, I'm 30. I'm not that old. I mean, I'm older than you, but I'm not like super old yet. But I got my first cell phone, just to put this in perspective of like how different times are. I was in grade 7, and I'll never forget. It's when the Motorola Razr came out. Literally came out like the year grade 6, grade 7. And I remember that it was like the biggest thing for Christmas. Like all my friends started getting cell phones in grade 7. People got the Motorola Razr. My dad got me a cell phone. It was this like brick of a Nokia phone. Like honestly, I can't even explain how shit it was. I could barely take a picture. Like I was so mad, so cheesy. Some of my friends had the Razr. Like this is the sickest phone ever. Fast forward to now, you guys are like creating TikToks and on Musically all like just during school. Like to me, that makes no sense. If I tried to do the most I could do was text somebody in grade 7, and I had like 2 people to text.
So Luca, you
my phone. Oh no, continue.
Sorry, no, I was just gonna say you might not know this, but back in the day when we used to text, you only had the 10 digits on the phone, right? So you had 1 through 9 plus 0, and then the star and the pound sign. I went blank there for a second.
Yeah.
So you would have to get like the letter C, you would have to touch 2, 3 times. So you can imagine how long it would take to text like, hey, what's up, man? How's it going? You'd be like, whatever, I don't know, 3 times to get H or whatever. It was just terrible.
My phone, honestly, I would call my phone more of like an iPod. It was like my dad's old iPhone when he got the new one, and it didn't have like a number or a SIM card or anything in it. It just, I don't know how, but we got the school Wi-Fi. I don't think the teachers knew because we were running on like their private Wi-Fi that was good. And so, we'd be always like Snapchatting each other in class and stuff.
Man, so much like sending notes back and forth. Hey, George, you remember it's like, hey, hand the note back?
I used to handle hand notes at that age, man. That's crazy. Like now kids are like I have like younger nieces and nephews, and never mind texting. They're like, I'll message them, and they'll be like, yeah, can you like message us on Snapchat? I was like, you guys don't have you have a phone, you can't text me? They're like, no, we talk on Snapchat. I was like, what the hell is going on in this world? Like, I feel so I mean, to give you context too, me and Ricky are founders of a tech startup. So like we are very more or less tech savvy, but even that blows my mind. I don't understand, younger generations these days. It's crazy how fast it's changing.
Honestly, even my cousins, I think they just turned like 11. They got their first phone. It seems like every year the younger kids are getting the phone sooner.
Yeah.
Are you the cool cousin? Are you the cool cousin now?
Kinda. It was like one day I didn't think it was really that cool until one day my cousins went to school, and I don't know if they talked about me or something, but they brought up my name, and I guess their friends were like supporters of mine, and they were like, oh yeah, he's our cousin. And they came back and they were like, none of our friends believe us. I was like, oh. They were like, oh yeah, you guys are lying and stuff. And I was like, oh, well, just show them our family picture or something. And I was like, damn, that's pretty cool that like my cousin's friends know me.
That is pretty crazy. Is that so? Like, when did you said that first video on Musical.ly kind of blew up, and it kind of gave you a little bit of inkling you wanted to keep doing this? What was the point where it was like, I mean, I don't want to say you like assume you made it. Maybe you feel like you have or haven't, but like, what was the point where you first started to feel like, okay, like I'm starting to pursue this. It's getting some traction. I can keep doing it. People kind of like that moment you kind of felt like you're on the right track.
I'd probably say it was probably when I went to like my first like paid event, or either probably like one of my first paid deals. Because at first, when you're small, like when you have a smaller following, you're not really making any money. You're kind of just doing it. So eventually when I got my first deal, and then I finally got the money for it, I was like, oh, okay, so I could I can make a living with this. And I think that was the turning point. And I was like, I think my first mark was when I hit 1 million. My goal was like, when I hit 1 million, I'm gonna take this really seriously, because I feel like that's a fairly big number. There's obviously a bunch of people with 1 million, but like not too many. Yeah. So I think it was when I hit 1 million, that was when I started like really taking it seriously. And I think that was in like grade 8. So I just went to high school.
That is insane. What's that like? Okay, let me ask you on the
Yeah.
other side. What's that like going to high school with like 1 million followers? Like, are you someone who walk in and you're like, yeah, I'm the king here? Like,
Honestly, it was really bad. Like, people, you probably think it'd be dope, but like, it was probably like I had 1 million, probably like a couple months after Musically went into TikTok, and everybody like in the older generations, I feel like didn't like Musically because it had like this really cringy stereotype to it. So at first, when people found out I did like TikTok and stuff, it still kind of had the reputation of Musically. So like a lot of the kids thought I was cringy. I really only had like a solid group of friends, and anybody that wasn't in my friend group thought I was super abnormal, weird, and cringy. So at like over time, I started to grow on people, but like at the beginning, because I went to a different high school than all my friends did. So I knew nobody. So it was like starting fresh already and having kids think I'm cringy. So it was a little difficult, but over time, it was pretty cool.
Well, what do you say to those people now that said that you were cringy back then?
I don't give them the time of day. It was actually funny because it was like one dude that like really bullied me in high school, like would call me names and stuff and shove me around. And I just remember him. I think it was like a month ago. He was in my DMs. He was like, "Oh, because I'm on like this tour right now." He hit me up and he was like, "Yo, when you're back in Vancouver, let's hang out." And I'm just thinking about, I'm like, why? Why would I do that?
You,
do you like not forget all like the stuff you did to me like in grade 8? I was like, no.
good, man. That's exactly how you should be.
Exactly. I wasn't gonna give it the time.
it's so funny. You hear a lot. You hear stories that often, and I don't even remember where, but I heard it recently, and I don't know if it was from like a celebrity or comedian or someone. Anyways, listening to a story, and so many people have those where it's like, fuck. Anyways, I'm not gonna remember who it is now, but oh no, you know who it was. Anyways, irrelevant. Whatever. It's like Jonah Hill was telling this story and Michael Cera, but when they were like. Michael Cera actually told it, coincidentally also Canadian. He was telling the story about how like before Superbad came out, went to high school in Brampton. He was this little like nerdy kid that had got no time of day, and he used to get bullied a lot. Superbad comes out, and the guy like the week before that was like bullying. You saw his poster at the movie theater, and he's like hits him up, like, hey, yeah, let's hang out, telling everybody they're buddies and everything. So interesting, eh? Like how it doesn't change the person you are. Like you don't change just because you have followers. That doesn't mean you're a different person. Yeah, a little more famous, but your personality probably didn't change much. But it's interesting how they think you're a loser then, and now because other people say you have followers, now you're okay then, right? It's interesting how people look at how they treat people and see people.
I get that a lot from like some hometown kids. They're like, "Oh, you changed." And I'm like, it's not that I changed. It's the situation changed. Like my surroundings changed. I'm still the same person. It's just now I'm doing different things. Now you want to reach out to me now. Like, but before you would never reach out to me. So
that's a good way
of sucks, but it is.
Yeah, no, I like that. It's not that I changed, it's the situation changed. And some people, they don't get it, right? Like they think because you're in a different situation that you change. It's like, no, like I kept going, I'm moving forward, I'm doing bigger and better things. You never took the time to get to know me before. So you don't realize that the person that I am, the person who I was always brought me to this situation. But because they didn't take the time to get to know you or they misjudged you, they think you've changed now because now you're what they would call like cool in society, right? Like, it's like you've always been the same dude. It's just now you have a bigger platform to show people who you are.
I leveled up.
That's it. I love it.
I leveled up, and it's like I can't go down. Now you got to meet me and you got to get up to me.
I love it.
Do you think I'm going to ask you honestly, like from like looking inwardly from yourself, do you think it's changed a little bit, like being as famous, building this fame, pursuing this career? Do you think it's changed you at all? Or do you feel like it's still the same from back then? Do you think you changed it in another way? Like, how do you feel like it's evolved from like your days of starting this, like, from grade 6 and Musically now to be a 17-year-old and starting to reach that kind of,
I feel like I've probably changed a little bit. Like, not like my personality and stuff, but like just the way I act, like me being humble, certain things I do and certain things I would do back when, I was still still going to public school and stuff. And just like the group of people I surround myself in, I probably slowly changed over time, but probably for the better, not for the worse, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no, definitely makes sense. Do you still hang out with any of your, like that original crew you said from your elementary school? Do you still hang out with any of them?
I hang out with a couple of them. it was actually funny because once I left high school, once I left public school to do online, because it was like I was traveling and going to all these events that were happening during the school year. It was at the point where it was like honestly just better for me to do online school because I could do it while I was traveling and stuff than me missing all the days and just having to come back and catch up. But it was when I left public school, it was like part of my group that just like went to the dark side and just all of a sudden completely like hated me because they started hanging out with the kids that didn't like me. So it started rubbing off them. So I still hang out with a couple of like my OG
Main
original ones,
yeah,
but
yeah.
some of them no.
I feel yeah. Yeah. I want to switch and pivot to this tour, the Boys of Summer. How did it start? Where'd you guys come up with the idea? Like, take us through, because this is like a massive thing on social media now. Well, not even just on social media in person, but I guess like it picked up so much steam on social media. Like I'm old in comparison, and I know what this is.
I think it's been going on for a while. I don't know when the first one was, but I met the guy that runs the tour. His name's Mike. I met Mike at an event, and then it was 2019. So this is my second time on it. It was supposed to happen last year, but because of COVID, it didn't happen. So my first one was in 2019, and he hit me up, and he was like, "Want to be a part of it?" And I was like, "Why would I not want to be on a tour?" I was like, "That literally sounds awesome." And so I came on it. My parents came on it too, so it
That's
was
dope.
a little.
Nah, man.
Well,
The older you get, the more you like spending time with your parents. Remember that. There's gonna be times where they're not gonna be around as much, and you're gonna miss them.
Yeah, I think I just turned 16 at the time, or I was either like almost 16. So I understood when my parents came. So like, how are you gonna let this 15, 16-year-old kid on a tour for a month with like, a bunch of people you don't know? But it was a little weird because they were the only parents there. But I guess because of that now though, and they see how like, how I behaved myself and stuff and how responsible I was, like now they let me do this stuff with myself. But the tour was a crazy experience, just being able to like meet a bunch of people that support me every day. Also being surrounded with a bunch of creators that have the same mindset as I do. So it's like the creativity is there. We bounce ideas off each other and you can make better ideas. The collabs there's the growth on tour is insane. The whole experience honestly is just crazy.
What was one of the what would you say was one of the highlights? It's just one thing that you could pick out of that trip that really sticks out, whether it's a moment, an experience, whatever.
Honestly, it's probably the moment you go on stage and like it's just like you walk on stage, because we do this game called the dating game on stage, like this little like skit kind of thing. We bring a girl up and then ask the crowd a question, and then we all have to answer, and then you eliminate one and there's one left. And it's like the moment we all run on stage, we always have our phones out, and then like when you run on stage, everybody's screaming and the whole venue's like just loud, and it's like the vibe is just insane. Just the hype in the whole room.
I can't imagine. Actually, I won a fitness contest when I was like 21.
Oh, here we go.
5,000 people there. That was kind of cool for me.
Yeah. I imagine like with our shows having like, anywhere from like 700 to like 1,000 people. When I think about it, I think about these like rappers and singers that do their tours and they have like 30,000 or like 10,000 people in their shows. I can't imagine what that's like. When I think like 1,000 is super cool, and then they're over here having like sometimes hundreds of thousands at like concerts and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, 100%. What's your dream then? Like, right now you said you wanted to pursue this, being an influencer. Like you when you found out it could be a career, you wanted to pursue it, that it was cool. What is like the road? What does the rest of the road look like for you? Is it continue to be like a big influencer? Is there bigger ambitions? Like what's?
Oh, I obviously still want to be an influencer, but my main thing right now is I want to do music. And I was in LA for like a couple of weeks before I left to go on tour. So I was hanging out with a couple of buddies, making some like music in the studio, messing around. I'm still trying to figure out what kind of, because like my playlist is like all over the place. I listen to so many different genres. And so honestly, what I'm doing in the studio right now is I'm still trying to figure out what kind of music I want to make. But I think music is definitely the path I want to take right now.
Right.
Music and YouTube. I have to start on YouTube. I've been slacking on YouTube.
Speaking about the music, then, what is on your playlist right now? Give us like your five favorite songs right now.
5 favorite songs? Oh, okay. Holy Smokes by Trippie Redd.
Okay.
Shop by Tusi. So Done by the Kid Leroy. Off the Map by So Fago, and Bloody Valentine by Machine Gun Kelly.
Shockingly, I know
So
four.
I got a little bit of like, yeah, I got a little bit of rock, a little bit of EDM, and I got a lot of rap. And then I have like, obviously you guys know Sam Smith. I got some Sam Smith in there, like some slow songs. It's a little bit all over the place.
I get it.
Okay. I actually know quite a few of those people. I used to listen to rap quite a bit. I don't anymore. I was never going to pursue a career in music, but I was in a band in high school. And then I went into music production and DJ through university when the whole EDM rise was coming up. Ricky threw events with another buddy of ours. They were promoters. And like, what's the word you use, Rick? Not promoters, like
Band coordinators.
Whatever. Yeah. I threw big events and I DJ'd. I played a lot of those shows, and it was more like in the EDM track, but then I have a phase where like a lot of those people I know, but the one in that list that I know for a long time, he's been doing it for a long time, is Machine Gun Kelly. And it's so interesting because I think he's actually, with the rise of like, I don't know how to explain, like his personality fits with like culture today really well. Like he's been around for a very long time, and he was always really super famous in big tracks. But I think now with like TikTok and everything, like it's really helping him blow up. He's really, and he actually seems like a really interesting guy to talk to. Like, he seems like he's got a lot of different personality, like angles, you know?
Oh, you cut out there.
Oh, I was just saying he's killing the music game. Like his songs are just doing numbers right now.
And he's making Fox too, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He's living it. You can't get a better life than that, dude, honestly. Like
I would honestly agree with you on that one. Yeah. You got one of the most beautiful women in the world. You're touring the world, just playing your music and what you love doing. So yeah, I agree. Who are some musicians that you take inspiration from then?
Probably Kid Leroy, because I think he's the same age as me too. And I think I don't know exactly how many. I lost my Spotify premium, so I don't use my Spotify, but I think he's got like around 30 million monthly listeners, has like songs with like hundreds of millions. I think maybe a song with over 1 billion. I don't know, but he's doing crazy numbers for a 17-year-old kid. And that's what I'd like to be. That's how I aspire to be like him.
Yeah, man, he's killed. He just did that performance with the Biebs, Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber, exactly. Imagine at 17, I have a song with Justin Bieber.
Oh, you're blowing up, man. You're going to the moon at that point.
Yeah, basically.
That's so crazy. So I want to ask you, and I want to pivot a little bit back to like the TikTok aspect, because obviously, do you follow like Barstool Sports and that sort of stuff, like Dave Portnoy? You know who that is at all?
I hear that. I don't follow them, but I see a lot of their stuff.
You see how he's kind of tapped into like the TikTok world, and like, well, who's the guy? Is the podcast with Josh Richardson or whatever? Like all these like TikTokers, whatever. So obviously, there's like this own like TikTok is kind of how like Vine was back in the day. It has its own world and its own personalities and stuff like that. If there's one person in that space you could collaborate with, or sit down with and pick their brain, whatever, is there anybody that like you look to for influence you think is doing something cool?
Like someone to like sit down and talk to type of thing?
Yeah.
Probably a Logan Paul.
Okay, that's a good one.
Because I feel like, he's been in here since Vine, doing crazy numbers on YouTube, and then he went to boxing and did crazy numbers on, boxing. He boxed Floyd Mayweather, and then he did music for a little bit too, and his music was doing numbers. Like, he's just kind of like dabbed and like touched in a little bit of everything. He's been in the game for a long time. So I feel like if I sit down and talk to him, I could actually like learn a lot. I feel like he's really good with marketing and everything.
Yeah, he's someone that actually like transformed the kind of the YouTuber, influencer, social media people into more than just that. Like, he's not a social media guy anymore. He's a full-on entertainer. Like it wouldn't shock me that if he goes and produces his own TV show or movie or series or something, like that's the next step. Like, you went from creating YouTube videos to getting canceled because of a YouTube video to fighting arguably the greatest boxer of all time. Even though it's an exhibition match, like, you stood in the ring with this guy for 7 rounds or however many rounds it was. Like, as an entertainer, what else is on that list?
He's done it all, honestly. It's crazy. He's set for life too. Like, he probably doesn't need to work anymore. He can just do whatever.
Oh, 100%. He's making like, he probably made, I think he made like 20 mil on that fight, or 6, no, maybe less. but he made a lot of money. Like he doesn't have to work if he doesn't want to. He's actually Logan Paul. Like Jake Paul, I'm not a big fan of, but Logan Paul, I respect what he's done, and I think he seems pretty bright. Doesn't come off as arrogant. Actually, on that note, would you ever step into the boxing ring if you had an opportunity to?
Yo, honestly, I would. I don't want to say I'm tall. Like I feel like I'm 6 foot, so I feel like I'm a decent height. I haven't gone to the gym. I would be down to hop in the ring with someone. I'd actually train for that, honestly. Whether I get my ass beat or I win, but
are you a fighter at all? Or are you more like if you ever gotten?
He's a lover. Let him.
Yeah, no, actually, a funny story. I don't want this to sound bad, but I've never been in a fight, but I want to be in a fight. I've just never wanted to be the kid that throws the first punch. Like, I don't want to get the first punch and then get knocked out. I want this, like, someone like punch me or like kick me or aggravate me somehow, so I have a reason to hit them back. Because I've never been in a fight, and obviously I don't want to fight someone for no reason, but like, I kind of want to experience it in a way. But
Luca, take this
from me. I have to hop
me.
in the ring. Who knows?
I got kicked in the face. Well, it's a long story. So you do not want to get hit first.
Nah,
it's not
like
fun. That's probably the only real fight I've ever been on. It wasn't much of a fight. I got kicked in the face, and then I just kind of turned around and just started punching people.
It wasn't even a fight. Rick was drunk at a festival, took his shirt off in a mosh pit, went down to grab a bottle off the floor, and got.
No, it was a piñata.
Still stupid. It's even worse.
Listen, some guy had, I'll tell the story. Some guy had a piñata. So I grabbed it. I went to we're all in this massive mosh pit and they made a circle. So I went to put the piñata on the floor. Some guy went to kick the piñata and his shin just like swiped my nose, like fully like just took my nose off. So I get up and I'm in the bag too. I'm drunk. So I don't feel anything. And I'm like blood everywhere. And I was like a bigger dude at the time too. And I just look up and I'm like, you kicked me. Boom, punch this kid. And the other guy's like, no, it wasn't him. I'm like, it's fucking you. Punch this guy. And everyone's looking at me because I'm like, just blood everywhere. And I'm like, where's George? I gotta find him. And yeah, it was a wild day.
Yeah,
George snaps my nose.
I've actually been in a fight. Like I've been in a real boxing, like actual boxing match. I fought once. It's not that bad, but you gotta it's not. Boxing is different than like a street fight. Like I was there when we got that, started throwing bombs at people. It was actually pretty funny. Like I felt bad for him, but it was pretty funny. He was fucked up. But like getting in a fight's not bad. The biggest thing is like staying calm, because most people, like if you get in like a fight, I've been in one fight in school when I was in like grade 4 or 5, got beat up like pretty, like just like I was a little short fat kid. Like I got just absolutely wrecked. Like not even embarrassed to admit it. I remember his name, Jordan Lewis. I'll never forget that kid. And then anyways, but actually fighting like in a ring too, it's so different because like, you have like, it's fighting in the street, it's like, okay, I just got to drop this guy immediately. So I got to win.
It's just all about winning. Doesn't matter how you win.
In a boxing match, it's like you have time. Okay, if I can't burn myself out, I got to chill, stay calm, all this shit. But I'll tell you, like I wasn't a fighter by any means. Once you get in the ring a little bit and train, it just shows you like, you can like if you stay calm in a fight, you typically prevail. The person who's most level-headed and most chill typically comes out ahead. This is more obviously boxing specific.
Like boxing, you got to actually train for.
Absolutely, it's hard as
Fighting's
shit.
Just like exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, street fight, you can do whatever. If you're in a street fight, honestly, you're just trying to win. No matter what you want to do. You want to kick him in the balls, you kick him in the balls. It's like boxing, you can't do that.
No. Rules, so. Or you're like Rick, you just start throwing hands at everybody.
Yeah, that was whoever was in my line of sight was catching it. Then George snapped my nose back. It was not a pretty sight. I woke up, my face is just like this. Oh, it was bad. Anyways,
how did you feel the next day?
So George actually kind of like snapped my nose back in.
I don't even think I did. I think I fucked it up more, to be honest.
I know. We got back to the hotel that night because we stayed at the festival because, like, we're having a blast. Like, Kai goes there, Rufus the Soul, like, we're just vibing. And so George, like, kind of tries to put it back in place. So we got home that night from we got to our hotel. We ordered all a bunch of room service to just get the ice. So I woke up with, like, all the ice on my face. Woke up, my eyes are, like, swollen, like, my cheeks are puffy. But I didn't have black eyes, shockingly. But the rest of the vacation, you just like, you see my nose getting worse and worse as the time goes on, as it starts to heal. It's just like, so now I got it fixed, thank God, because it looked pretty bad before, but Anyways,
More opinion.
Well, I got another question on the TikTok line. I jump back. Is there one person on TikTok you think is super cringy that you like can't stand? I don't want to put you on the spot either if you don't want to answer, but I just feel like you might know more people in that space. And I don't know if there's any beefs or anything on TikTok, but
I don't want to say his name, but there is a dude I really dislike, and I think he's like around the same following as me too. I think we're somewhat around the same height. So if there ever becomes a boxing opportunity, I know who I want to call out.
come on.
I would knock the shit out of this kid. At that point, it's like he did something one day, and it's like now it's like it's not like just boxing for boxing. It's like I got a reason behind it. Like I really would just sock this kid. So,
Really? He did something like something personally, or just something on TikTok?
nah, it was something personal. It was in person, so I was like,
oh, this guy disrespected you.
Yeah, he did disrespect me. I don't know if what I did made him jealous or something, but I don't know. He was pissed at me for whatever reason.
See, this is the clip we're gonna post on Instagram and TikTok and be like, drop the comments, who is it? And let's see who people think. And then boom, we're gonna organize the boxing match right in here. We'll make a little ring in here. And that's it.
Dancer. He's a dancer. That's a hint though. He's a dancer.
Okay.
How many followers he has?
All the Luca fans are gonna know who they're talking about. I have no idea. Like I probably don't know.
No, I don't think I've even said this anywhere. But he's like, I think he has like probably around 4 or 5 million. Like I think he has somewhere around me. And yeah, he's a really popular dancer right now. So I mean, someone might be able to figure it out, but I think this is the first time I've ever spoken about it online.
Man, we got an exclusive out here. We're gonna be digging for the beef. We're gonna start commenting.
You guys should be the commentators. You guys can be the commentators when I knock them out.
100%.
Bro, gotcha. I feel like that guy that knows nothing about boxing. I'm like, yo, he just socked him. Oh, he drops.
Well, I don't know. He dances, so I'm assuming he's probably good on his feet, but he kind of like, in a way, like looks like me. We don't typically look like a fighter. Like I don't think he fights, but I don't know. I think it'd be a fairly good fight because we probably have around the same range, same following. So I feel like it'd be kind of head to head.
If you ever fight, I'll set you up with a trainer. My trainer's actually, I won my fight. I'm 1-0, 1 knockout. So which doesn't typically happen. I actually felt bad. It was a charity boxing match, like a big event. And like, I'm the first guy in the history of 8 years to knock a dude out. It's kind of scary. You feel kind of bad after, but my trainer is a really, really good trainer. So if you ever need any advice, let me know. I'll set you up.
Of course. I'll have to hit you up if this becomes a thing.
I love it.
Okay, on the flip side of that, so we know there's that person you beef with. Who's your favorite TikToker? Like someone you would love to collab with on TikTok. So we know music, you got that.
Say it again. Cut out there.
Two-Turn Tony, I think that's his name. I think.
I heard that. Two-Turn Tony.
I didn't hear it.
You know who he is?
Yeah, you're cutting out a bit, but yeah, Two-Turn Tony. I heard it.
Oh, I love Two-Turn Tony.
The guy does his stuff with the duck and the girls, and his parents get mad at him and stuff. Like I feel like that would be so funny. I'd love to be in one of his videos. So even drinking, I don't care. I think that'd be so funny.
My dad watches Two-Turn Tony.
Come on.
My dad's like 64 now, 63. Like heavier set dude, knows nothing about social media. One day, like during COVID, like I showed him what TikTok was. Never used it, maybe about a month ago. So like it's the morning, we're both like waking up having coffee, and I just hear Two-Turn Tony in the background. And I look over at my dad. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "You hear about this Tony Two-Turned?" I'm like,
Tony Two-Turned.
Tony Two-Turned. Come look at this. Hey, look, his mom's getting mad at him. Look at his dad. I'm like, Dad, like what?
I think his stuff's super creative and funny. And it's like they're all like little skit stuff too. It's not like he's like doing an audio or dancing. Like I don't see anybody else doing this stuff he does on the app. So it's cool.
Definitely
I
creative.
like these original.
He always pops in my time. And I will say, so I have people who've heard this story already, but I was super against TikTok for a while. Not for any real reason, but I just have like, I had so much social, all this social media, trying to get off it. Ironically, like I said, Ricky and I founded a social media company. So trying to get off social media, and now we built an app that's in that space. But I tried to stay off TikTok for a while because of the fact that I was like, first I thought it was like, I was older, I was looking at it, I was like, oh, it's just all a bunch of fucking kids dancing. And then I kind of understood that it was more than that. But then I was like, fuck, if I start watching it, I'm going to waste so much time on it. Like, I know it's got a good algorithm. I know it's very, like, it'll serve what I want to see. So I stayed off for so long. And then I was like, obviously for our app that we're building, we're like, you know what, might as well get on it. It's free promo. I'll post stuff that we're doing behind the scenes, whatever. And I started making videos, and I used to vlog on YouTube. And I was like, oh, this is kind of like YouTube, but on your phone, and like easier to do than editing video. I'll be honest, I'm fucking addicted to this app now. Like, I can see why so many people around the world use it. I was like, it's fun. And it seems more, to a degree, more real than like Instagram is, for instance. Like, I mean, a lot of people I know use Instagram for whatever, to post pictures of whatever they want. But over time, it seems a little bit curated. You know, people you can kind of curate your own persona, whereas TikTok seems more like natural, and it's crazy shit. It's funny shit. So I kind of see the appeal, and I'm not embarrassed to admit now, I'm full-fledged TikTok. I'm not that good at it though. Like, I think my last video had like 9 views. Pretty bad.
You know what I just realized? Sorry, we should have live streamed this episode on TikTok from the Pals account.
Yeah,
that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, that would have been actually
funny.
Next time
you say that, because like I feel like me and TikTok personally, I'm actually like, even as a TikToker, I'm really not too addicted, I'd say. Like, I'll get on, I'll look for an idea, I'll post it, and I feel like I get off the app, and I don't really go back on it until I want to post another TikTok. But it's funny you say that, because my dad, we're watching TV, and I'll look over, and I'll see him just scrolling on the For You page, just looking, and he just gets a bunch of like stupid memes, and he'll send them to me. It'll be like a little rat washing itself with like a toothbrush in a bathtub, and he'll send it to me, and like laugh at it and stuff. Like, I don't know. My parents use it more than I do, honestly, probably.
That's actually really good though, because that's the one that I always found that, I mean, you're younger, right? So you always think about, like, you know, you think about younger generation when they start to get on these social media apps, they want to, you know, create content, which is great. I think it's good to express yourself creatively, but it can be like can be also negative, right? Because you spend so much time on it, seeing what people are doing. So then the fact that you don't spend that much time on it, you're just doing it more to be the creative, not really worrying too much about like what's going on, what people are doing around you. And that's actually quite a positive way to use it. I mean, it's obviously doesn't hurt ever to kind of peek in and see what people are doing, but having that discipline to like stay away from it on like a full-time consumption basis, that's probably got to be good, I guess, for mental health capacity, and also just not wasting time.
I feel like what I hear a lot of people say nowadays is like they'll be on there so much, and they'll see all these people living like a bunch of like dope lives, and they start to compare themselves. Like, you know, you might compare yourself to like this dude, and you know, he's way bigger than you, better looking than you, and you're like, damn, this guy's living the best life. But it's just like, I don't know, I find spending less time on the app, like, it doesn't affect my mental health too much. So like, I'm not here comparing myself to them. I'm just doing my own thing.
It's good for
good that you recognize that at a young age, because there's people probably closer to our age that still haven't realized that.
Oh, for sure. It's a
Good
lot
for you that you've realized it at that age, because again, it's a vicious cycle. Social media, if you've got that negative mentality where you're constantly looking at other people and their lives, because again, social media 99% of the time is a highlight reel of someone's life. So everyone shares the highs and the amazing travel experiences.
No one posts the negative stuff going on. They only post the stuff that's good. So you're looking, you're like, damn, this girl's living the best life, because, you know, she's only posting the good stuff. Like, you don't know what's going on off camera. So
100%, man. And I honestly, it's really good you see that. It's one thing I'll say personally. I think I've been very fortunate. I've done some cool shit, been around the world, been in cool parties, met cool people. But it's even when I was younger, like older, and I'm saying older than you, I was like probably like 25 or 24, 25, like just out of university. I'd see people posting, and, you know, you'd see somebody doing something really cool. Someone, you know, going down to Vegas on a jet, or going, whatever, something that's really like very rare for people to do, not something normal people would do. And I was like, oh wow, that guy's life is sick. And over time, I was thinking about it. I was like, wow, like how ungrateful I must sound like to even think that in my head, that like I get to do all these cool things, and what, like, this guy's life's cool. Like, you don't know what else goes on. And it takes a lot of time to realize, and especially because social media still is fairly new. Like, we grew up in the Facebook era, more or less, Facebook, Instagram. And like, even during that time, you don't really realize it, but the fact that like, you know, at your age, you know, you can kind of catch these things, and it's good to notice those early on, because it can be very toxic, very negative, right? Like everybody's chasing that next thing, or, you know, if I get bigger to be like this guy, my life will be better and so forth, but it never ends. And you just always pushing the bar more, and it's just never ending.
I feel like I hear that often. People comparing themselves, like, you know, girls being like, damn, this girl looks way better than me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you can't compare yourself to them. You just got to be yourself. Everybody's doing different stuff. You never know what's going on in someone else's life, because a lot of people don't talk about the negative stuff online. They only talk about the positive stuff. So it's just like, you can't compare yourself.
Yeah. Speaking of girls, what do your DMs look like on a daily basis?
Honestly, I actually don't go through my DMs a lot. Occasionally, I'll sit through my requested and I'll go through, you know, find a couple I'll respond to some, you know, girls here and there, some supporters, but I typically actually don't go through my DMs a lot.
Really?
Breaking hearts
And I
right
feel like
now.
that's like,
Girls are sitting at home thinking, fuck, he's not looking at the DMs.
I do sometimes, but I feel like a big stereotype of like TikTok boys are like, oh, like, you know, what's that term? They're like a fuck boy. They talk to all these girls. So I'm sitting here like, I genuinely don't Snapchat a lot of girls. Like, especially being on tour and stuff. We're on a bus with absolutely zero service all day. The most ass Wi-Fi I've ever seen, which is odd. How are you going to put a bunch of influencers on a bus, and the one thing they need is Wi-Fi, and it doesn't work? But
man, you can't get like an unlimited data package or something?
Oh, that's my mom, bro. The merch lady bought a portable hotspot from Verizon, and she doesn't tell anybody else on it but me the passwords. I got good Wi-Fi, but everybody else is complaining about the Wi-Fi, running up their data bill and stuff, and I'm just laughing. So, but no, I honestly don't like talk to a lot of girls. I honestly don't talk to a lot of like talk like that. Like I got some friends here and there, but like I don't flirt or like I've never been in a relationship, or like even like probably been in the talking stage, if that's what you want to call it.
Well, you're still young. You're still young, right?
You're a good-looking dude, man. You got to be out there. I mean, I'm not. Listen, I understand whenever times are whatever, but like honestly, being someone I see like guys like you on TikTok, or like I see your TikTok, I'm like, oh, this guy for sure he's got dates left, right, and center. Like I'm friends with Ricky, and Ricky's got dates left, right, and center, and that guy Ricky's pretty ugly. I was like, I see this guy dancing. I'm like, this guy's got moves. He's got to be going on dates and having his DMs blow up, you know? Good for you though, man.
Do you like that? You gonna let him do you like that, Ricky?
You know what? It is what it is. I do go on dates. I have fun. Actually, I just posted I was looking for a date for a wedding, and I've been having some bad luck lately. So I posted a TikTok, and I was like, I'm looking for a date for a wedding, and it kind of blew up. I've had like 6,000 comments or something, and like, mind you, I'm not a TikToker at all. Yeah, go watch it after, and you'll see. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I got like 5,000 followers in the last like couple days. I'm like, that's it. I made it. I'm quitting. That's it. I'm going with the boys on tour.
Like I got nothing against girls, but like just in like the space I am, like you said at 17, like I really don't need to be worrying about a relationship. I'm trying to focus on like my hustle and grind, and like I really don't want anything to get in the way. Also, don't want to have to spend extra money that I really don't need to. So
I respect that. Hey, listen. I mean, I don't want to say, if I say this, Rick's going to roast me, but I was the same way when I was young. Like, I mean, for a long time, I was like, let me focus on work. Let me focus on like myself and all those things. So I didn't either, but
I'm not going to roast you. It's okay.
I said myself a lot of girls there, but it's okay.
I feel like some girls' ideas of like a date would be like, oh, going to a nice restaurant, you know, the guy pays for the dinner. I'm like, dude, if I'm ever taking a girl on a date, we're gonna chill out. We're gonna order some McDonald's, right? I'm not buying you some like $50. I'm not buying you some $50 steak. I just met you. We're having some McDonald's. We're gonna watch a movie.
That's like honestly, that's why I'm grateful. My girlfriend, like, I don't get me wrong, love the girl, take her to nice dinners, but also she's chilling. She's like, you know what, like we can like get McDonald's tonight and watch Netflix. I'm like, perfect. But you do gotta get, it's gonna give and take a little, because eventually then they want like, okay, I've had enough of this takeout, let's go somewhere nice. Like, all right, cool.
Meanwhile, I'm going on a date tonight. I'm gonna get rinsed. $300 dinner for sure.
Where are you going tonight?
I'm going to Gusto. They don't take Rezzo, so I booked Toroni as a backup. So Luca, next time you're in Toronto, we got some good recos.
I'm down.
We'll put you in touch with people too, so you get it on the house. That's it. Do a little TikTok there. Boom. Free dinner.
It's like another common problem with influencers and girls is like I don't like to think I'm big, so I don't want this to sound cocky, but I feel like once, even like for smaller people, once you start to get a following, I feel like it's hard to tell if a girl really likes you because you're you, or because you're making more money than the average person my age, or you have followers and stuff. So I feel like slowly as you get bigger, it actually almost makes it harder to find someone that like genuinely likes you for you, because you never really know. Because even if you ask the girl, obviously she's not gonna admit it. So
the good thing is, like, listen, over time that comes, right? Like, it's, to be honest, it's a fair thing to think about too. Like, I'm not in your position in that regard, but I come from like an entrepreneurial family background. We have our app now, and like, as you build success, you always worry about that, and you think like, is this person dating me because they actually want to date me, or they're just talking because they know what I can provide in the future, or who I am, kind of thing. And you typically, like, you'll start to know as you get, like, you go on more dates, you can kind of weed them out after a while. Some people, listen, there's some girls who are very good at what they do, and they know how to pull the right strings and put on the right,
how to trick you.
100%. But there's, like, over time, you can see the telltale signs. As long as you think with your, like, with this more than with this and with the thing down there, then you should be shit. That's crazy. My girlfriend just FaceTimed me. Her ears must be ringing. But no, if you think like level headed, you can kind of weed them out. I'm sure you seem like a pretty smart guy for your age. I think you'll be all right.
I feel like my ideal thing is if I was gonna go like date a girl or try dating a girl, I feel like I'd try to find someone that has no idea what I do, knows nothing about the social media stuff. So I know 100% she's just there to meet me, learn about me, knows nothing about all that. So I know she's not a clout chaser, I know she's not a gold digger. But yeah.
It's funny now. Like, your DMs are gonna blow up with girls being like, "Hey, I'm not a gold digger. I don't even know who you are." It's gonna be all these girls from TikTok and Instagram just hitting you up.
Well, no, you're gonna be on your first date with the McDonald's dinner, and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck? I signed up for more than this."
Yeah, I thought I was getting some $50 steak. What do you mean I'm getting a single patty hamburger?
Not even a combo, eh? Not even a combo.
Oh, you're not even getting no drink and fries. You're getting the patty. That's about it.
I love it, man.
Luca, before we wrap up, I want to ask you something. So obviously being on social media, and you got, millions of followers, you got tons of videos, tons of content. What's something that your followers wouldn't know about you, or something that people can't Google or find about you on social media? What's something that people don't know?
That I'm probably like the world's biggest introvert. And I feel like everybody thinks, you're posting all this stuff for thousands of people to see, but it's like, it's only because I don't physically see them. Like, when I think about doing music, I feel like the hardest part is one day if I like do get successful in music, is like I have the worst stage fright. Even on tour, I'm like still trying to figure this out, but like I can't put myself in front of like a whole bunch of people physically. Like, I like get quiet and stuff. And so like even when I'm out at parties, like big groups of like friends, I only will talk to the people that I know. I'll never go up to a new person and start a conversation. If they come to me and they initiate the conversation, I'll slowly get better, but I can't be the first one to talk. I can't go up to people. I get super shy. Like, I'm dead ass probably like one of the biggest introverts. I feel like people just assume because you're doing the social media, you're putting stuff out there for hundreds of thousands of people to see. They assume I'm an extrovert, but I'm really not. So
that's really interesting. I wouldn't have thought that either. I actually would have thought you're pretty extroverted. Like, you seem like that kind of. That's good to know. That's pretty cool. All right.
Well, Luca, we appreciate you taking the time in your day to sit down with us, man. This is an awesome conversation. We are fans now for sure. I'm gonna be you're just gonna catch me on your comments like, yo, blah blah blah. No, but we appreciate you taking the time in your day. Yeah, man. We gotta get you on our app too. I'm gonna send you a DM after this. So make sure you check mine. But
100%.
Beauty. Luca, we got two questions we always ask every guest. The first, if there was a movie about your life, who would you want to star as you? Could be anyone from any point in time.
Oh, I mean, I don't think the age really fits the role now, but I feel like if I had a movie, I feel like I put Adam Sandler there just because he's hilarious.
Love it. That's a great answer. A young Adam Sandler.
I like that one. Last question. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I don't want this to sound cliche at all, but it's really like be yourself. Because I found in high school, I started kind of like not adapting, but like doing more stuff to fit in. And I was like, it came to a point I was like, yeah, I really hate doing this. I hate doing stuff just for other people to accept me. And so, as cliche as it sounds, literally just be yourself and don't change for anyone. Don't change your style, the way you do your hair, the way you dress, the way you post pictures. Don't change anything.
Respect.
That's probably what I
Love
say.
it.
That's good advice,
Love it.
man. You seem years above your age, man. Good for you. Keep doing what you're doing, and yeah, we'll be following along. Maybe we'll try and maybe I'll get more than 8 views when I try to do one of your videos or something like that. But I love it, man. I love it. Keep it up.
You guys proud of me. Super fun.
Yeah, Luca, if people want to find out more about you, what you're doing, all your TikToks and the tour and everything, where can they go? How can they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram and TikTok at mostly Luca. I post every day.
Beauty.
Love it. And for those listening, if you made it to the end of the episode, we appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time. Give Luca a follow on TikTok, Instagram. Hit him up. He won't read your DMs, but he's got some good content for you. And that's it. Sign off, guys. Cheers. Luca, hang on 1 second. Yeah.
1 sec. I got to snap a quick picture. Oh, what the fuck am I doing here? There we go. I got a quick